But Triple X obviously is the moment I think everyone was like, wow, this is a moment that we can never erase from our brains. As Mankind was tossed off the Hell in the Cell, I will never forget the time that Elix Skipper walked across that cage and handed you a massive Hurricanrana off the top at Turning Point 2004. Now, explain to me who came up with this spot, because again, in wrestling, things can go wrong pretty easily. If he walked and fell off or crotched himself, it could have ended terribly for Elix Skipper. But describe to me the entire day and who actually greenlit this, because this is the spot that everyone needs to see. And if they haven't yet, go check it out.
Yeah. So a lot of people forget we had a cage match with those guys before. It was I don't know, maybe 15 months before. We had a four-sided cage match with them, and the match just was incredible. It was highly talked about. So this time around, we were doing a rematch, and it was six sides of steel. So right away, the idea was, God, how are we even going to try to top what we did before? And I'm not sure if that's the right strategy. I mean, you definitely want to go in, topping it, but you gotta consider the risk, and that move in particular, there was so much risk involved, a lot of room for error on that, and so yeah, it's just you get four heads together that know what they're doing, and had some great ideas in there, and a lot of people don't remember also like that the walking of the top rope was one of Elix Skipper's main moves. He would do that in all of his matches. He would walk the top rope and do the Hurricanrana there. So it wasn't just kind of pulled out of left field. It was something that he had been doing, and so Elix being the crazy creative mind, he's thinking, what if I walk the cage and yeah, it sounds great, but I mean, good lord, yeah, there's just so much that could go wrong. And so he brought it up to me, and it was that day. It was that day, and he brought it up, and uh, um, just talking. I guess that's my instinct took over, and I was just like, man, I don't know. There's just so much that could go wrong, and so I mean, basically, I was saying let's do something else. Let's not do that. And he looks like okay, no problem. And so as the day goes on, um, I'd say I mean this is just a guess, but maybe a couple hours before bell time, um, I guess I had just started thinking about it, and like I said before, the instinct took in to try to be smart about it, but then you just that adrenaline starts kicking, and you're thinking, man, what if something like that could get pulled off, and so I went back to Elix, and I said, man, I said, can you do this? Can you really pull this off? And I'll tell you what really did it for me was it was his confidence, because he answered so quick, and he said, yes, I can do this. And I looked at him, I said, well, let's do it then. Let's do it. And I mean, that's one of the things. There's no rehearsals, no practices involved, nothing like that. I mean, it was a one and done kind of thing. And uh, so yeah, I mean, it's his confidence showed me he could do it, and so um, I was like, let's do it, man. And you saw the result. I mean, it was a little scary at first, but you know what? If there wasn't the risk involved, then it wouldn't have been so exciting. The rush of oh my God, what could possibly something could really bad happen here, and of course I'm thinking that too. I'm sitting there on the top of the cage and I'm fighting with Daniels, and I'm thinking if this doesn't happen, then I gotta come up with something else here that happens. And before I even knew it, I guess he had got his footing, and I turned my head, and he was right on me, and we were going. So yeah, incredible. I mean, they still play it back today. They still talk about it today. I'm glad that I'm part of the talk. However, being the one to take that fall, that wasn't fun, but yeah, incredible, man. It was a incredible moment. I was happy to be a part of that and the match itself. I mean, we just, but I think that's probably one of our favorite matches for all four of us. But yeah, that's kind of how it went, man. I have to say, there was a lot of doubt, but Elix's confidence in himself to be able to pull it off is really what solidified it for me.
Oh man, It's one of the greatest moments, like in professional wrestling, not just TNA, because again, it's a visual too. Like you said, like people still talk about it because it's an easy thing to show someone on your phone, like on TikTok, or whatever. You're like, hey, look at this. And so someone thinks, oh my God, is this guy gonna fall? Like you don't know what is gonna happen. And what's weird if you watch that clip, when Elix Skipper first gets up, his legs are crisscrossed. And he's like, I'm like, oh, and so he has to readjust himself now on this cage while Christopher Daniels is holding you. Now, was he part of the plan as well? Because if you see it, Elix Skipper and the camera angle behind him when he follows him to you, Daniels is holding your legs. And I don't know if it's for safety reasons or that's just he's supposed to distract you and then Elix comes over and gets you.
Um, well, Daniels and I were actually fighting at the
Right,
time. He
right. But
wasn't necessarily
he's like
holding my
holding your
legs, but
legs too in
I
case
remember I
something
was I
obviously
remember I was
wrong.
well, I was kicking him because I wanted there to be some action while this was going on. I don't like how many times we see where people are just waiting for the stunt nowadays.
Mm.
So whether no matter what, this is crazy to say, but no matter what happened to Elix, that's the match is still going to go on. So whether he makes it or not, so Daniels and I just needed to keep that rolling and just keep fighting until something came. So thank God Elix was there and took care of that. But yeah, that was just at the time. It was just I think I was climbing up. I don't remember what I was climbing up for, and then Daniel stopped me, and then we just
Mm.
continued to fight there while I was sitting there. So yeah, I was the one bracing myself, not him,
Okay,
and
okay.
I was kicking him while I think he was throwing some punches in, and but yeah, that was just me trying to keep the action going and no stops or anything like that, and if Elix was there, then it's incredible, and if he's not, then we just keep moving. Uh,
Man, just the fact that he could have
we
just
find
tipped
another way to
over.
get down. So,
He could have just
but yeah, that's
he could have just fallen over, landed on the ground. Like that could have gone so sour. But yet it's one of those moments that was perfect. Everything aligned, the stars were there.